Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. I'm so sorry that I'm very late today, but we had a 4-hour, very important meeting with Priyakund and Radharaman, kind of hammering out some details of what's going to happen between now and the end of this month, practical details. So I'm going to get right into the reading. I'm very excited actually today because we're going to begin Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur loved the Sri Caitanya-caritämrta so much. He wrote this, or he spoke this very poetic glorification. He said, in due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to hold Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Because if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual harm, damage. Because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. So finally we've reached the Ädi-lilä, chapter 13, the advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All we've been waiting for, hearing all the wonderful nectarian beginnings of this book, the lead up to the advent of Lord Chaitanya. And here we are, finally. Chapter 13, the advent of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 13th chapter describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. The entire Ädi-lilä describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's household life, and similarly, the Antya-lilä describes his life in the sannyas order. Within the Lord's Antya-lilä, the first 6 years of his sannyas life are called the Madhya-lilä. During this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu toured southern India, went to Vrindavan, returned from Vrindavan, and preached the Sankirtan movement. A learned Brahmana named Upendra Mishra, who resided in the district of Srihata, was the father of Jagannath Mishra, who came to Navadvip to study under the direction of Nilambar Chakrabarti, and then settled there after marrying Nilambar Chakrabarti's daughter, Sachi Devi. Sri Sachi Devi gave birth to 8 children, all daughters, who died one after another, immediately after birth. After her 9th pregnancy, she gave birth to a son, who was named Vishwarup. Then, in 1407 Shaka era, AD 1486, in the full moon evening of the month of Palguna, with the moon in the constellation of Singha, Leo, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as the son of Sri Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra. After hearing of the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, learned scholars and brahmanas bringing many gifts, came to see the newborn baby. Nilambar Chakrabarti, who was a great astrologer, immediately prepared a horoscope, and by astrological calculation, he saw that the child was a great personality. This chapter describes the symptoms of this great personality. Text 1. Saprasidatu Caitanya Devo Yasya Prasadataha Talila Varnane Yoga Sadyak Syad Adamopyaham Pyayam. I wish the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even one who is fallen can describe the pastimes of the Lord. Purport. To describe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Sri Krishna, one needs supernatural power, which is the grace and mercy of the Lord. Without this grace and mercy, one cannot compose transcendental literature. By dint of the grace of the Lord, however, even one who is unfit for a literary career can describe wonderful transcendental topics. Description of Krishna is possible for one who is empowered. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. C.C. Antya, 711. Unless empowered with the mercy of the Lord, one cannot preach the Lord's name, fame, qualities, form, entourage, and so on. It should be concluded, therefore, that the writing of Sri Caitanya-caritämrta by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami manifests specific mercy bestowed upon the author, although he thought of himself as the most fallen. We should not consider him fallen because he describes himself as such. Rather, anyone who is able to compose such transcendental literature is our esteemed master. Text 2. Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gaura Chandra Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Jaya Nityananda. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Jaya Jaya Gadadhar, Jaya Srinivas, Jaya Mukunda Vasudeva, Jaya Haridas. All glories to Gadadhar Prabhu, all glories to Shivas Thakur, all glories to Mukunda Prabhu and Vasudeva Prabhu, all glories to Haridas Thakur. Text 4. All glories to Sarup Damodar and Murari Gupta. All these brilliant moons have together dissipated the darkness of this material world. Text 5. All glories to the moons who are the devotees of the principal moon, Lord Chaitanya Chandra. Their bright moonshine illuminates the entire universe. Purport. In this verse we find the moon described as Chandragana, which is plural in number. This indicates that there are many moons. In the Bhagavad Gita 10:21, the Lord says, Nakshatranam aham shashi. Among the stars, I am the moon. All the stars are like the moon. Western astronomers consider the stars to be suns, but Vedic astronomers, following the Vedic scriptures, consider them moons. The sun has the ability to shine powerfully, and the moons reflect the sunshine and therefore look brilliant. In the Caitanya-caritämrta, Krishna is described to be like the sun. The Supreme Powerful is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And his devotees are also bright and illuminating because they reflect the Supreme Sun. The Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya 22:31 states, Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andakar, Yahan Krishna Tahan Nai, Maya Radhikar. Krishna is bright like the sun. As soon as the sun appears, there is no question of darkness or nations. Similarly, the present verse also describes that by the illumination of all the moons, brightened by the reflection of the Krishna sun, or by the grace of all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire world will be illuminated, despite the darkness of Kali Yuga. Only the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can dissipate the darkness of Kali Yuga, the ignorance of the population of this age. No one else can do so. No one else can do so. We therefore wish that all the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement may reflect the Supreme Sun and thus dissipate the darkness of the entire world. Text 6. Thus I have spoken the preface of the Caitanya-caritämrta. Now I shall describe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in chronological order. Text 7. First, let me give a synopsis, the synopsis of the Lord's pastimes. Then I shall describe them in detail. Text 8. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, adventing himself in Navadvip, was visible for 48 years, enjoying his pastimes. In the year 1407 of the Shaka era, AD 1486, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and in the year 1455, AD 1534, he disappeared from this world. Text 10. For 24 years, Lord Chaitanya lived in the Grihastha ashram, household life, always engaging in the pastimes of the Hare Krishna movement. Text 11. After 24 years, he accepted the renounced order of life, sannyas, and he resided for 24 years more at Jagannath Puri. Text 12. Of these last 24 years, he spent the first 6 continually touring India, sometimes in South India, sometimes in Bengal, and sometimes in Vrindavan. Text 13. For the remaining 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. Chanting the nectarian Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he inundated everyone there in a flood of love of Krishna. Text 14. The pastimes of his household life are known as the Ädi-lilä, or the original pastimes. His later pastimes are known as the Madhya-lilä and Antya-lilä, or the middle and final pastimes. Text 15. All the pastimes enacted by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Ädi-lilä were recorded in summary form by Murari Gupta. Text 16. His later pastimes, the Madhya-lilä and Antya-lilä, were recorded in the form of notes by his secretary, Surup Damodar Goswami, and thus kept within a book. Text 17. By seeing and hearing the notes recorded by these two great personalities, a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Lord, can know these pastimes one after another. Text 18. In his original pastimes there are 4 divisions: Balya, Pauganda, Kaishora, and Yovana. Childhood, early boyhood, later boyhood, and youth. Text 19. I offer my respectful obeisances under the full moon evening in the month of Palguna, an auspicious time full of auspicious symptoms, when Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu advented himself with the chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna. Text 20. On the full moon evening of the month of Palguna, when the Lord took birth, coincidentally, there was also a lunar eclipse. Text 21. In jubilation, everyone was chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hari, Hari, and Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then appeared, after first causing the appearance of the holy name. Text 22. At his birth, in his childhood, and in his early and later boyhood, as well as in his youth, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, under different pleas, induced people to chant the holy name of Hari, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Text 23. In his childhood, when the Lord was crying, he would stop immediately upon hearing the holy names Krishna and Hari. Text 24. All the friendly ladies who came to see the Lord would chant the holy names Hari, Hari, as soon as the child would cry. Text 25. When all the ladies saw this fun, they enjoyed laughing and called the Lord Gora Hari. From then on, Gora Hari became another of his names. Text 26. His childhood lasted until the date of Hate Kadi, the beginning of his education, and his age from the end of his childhood until he married is called Poganda. Text 27. After his marriage, his youth began, and in his youth he induced everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra anywhere and everywhere. Text 28. During his Poganda age, he became a serious student and also taught disciples. In this way, he used to explain the holy name of Krishna everywhere. Text 29. When teaching a course in grammar, Vyakarana, and explaining it with notes, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught his disciples about the glories of Lord Krishna. All explanations culminated in Krishna, and his disciples would understand them very easily. Thus his influence was wonderful. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami compiled a grammar in 2 parts, named Lagu Hari Namamrita Vyakarana and Brihad Dhari Namamrita Vyakarana. If someone studies these 2 texts in Vyakarana, or grammar, he learns the grammatical rules of the Sanskrit language and simultaneously learns how to become a great devotee of Lord Krishna. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhyakanda, 1st chapter, there is a statement about the method by which Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught grammar. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the aphorisms of grammar to be eternal, like the holy name of Krishna. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vidaish Chasarvair Aham Eva Vedyaha. The purport of all revealed scriptures is understanding of Krishna. Therefore, if a person explains anything that is not Krishna, he simply wastes his time laboring hard without fulfilling the aim of his life. If one simply becomes a teacher or professor of education, but does not understand Krishna, it is to be understood that he is among the lowest of mankind, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7:15, Naradama Mayaya Parita Jnana. If one does not know the essence of all revealed scriptures, but still becomes a teacher, his teaching is like the disturbing braying of an ass. Text 30. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a student, he asked whomever he met to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In this way he inundated the whole town of Navadvip with the chanting of Hare Krishna. Purport. The present Navadvip Dham is but a part of the whole of Navadvip. Navadvip means 9 islands. These 9 islands, which occupy an area of land estimated at 32 square miles, are surrounded by different branches of the Ganges. In all 9 of those islands of the Navadvip area, there are different places for cultivating devotional service. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23 that there are Navavida Bhakti, 9 different activities of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. There are different islands in the Navadvip area for cultivation of these 9 varieties of devotional service. They are as follows: 1. Antardvip. 2. Simantadvip. 3. Godumdvip. 4. Madhyamdvip. 5. Koladvip. 6. Ritudvip. 7. Janudvip. 8. Modadrumdvip. And 9. Rudradvip. According to the settlement map, our ISKCON Navadvip Center is situated on the Rudradvip island. Below Rudradvip, in Antardvip, is Mayapur. There, Jagannath Mishra, the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to reside. In all these different islands, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a young man, used to lead his Sankirtan party. He thus inundated the entire area with the waves of love of Krishna. Text 31. Just prior to his youthful life, he began the Sankirtan movement. Day and night, he used to dance in ecstasy with his devotees. 32. The Sankirtan movement went on from one part of the town to another, as the Lord wandered everywhere, performing kirtan. In this way he inundated the whole world by distributing love of Godhead. Purport. One may raise the question how all 3 worlds became inundated with love of Krishna, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtan only in the Navadvip area. The answer is that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. The entire cosmic manifestation results from the Lord's first setting it in motion. Similarly, since the Sankirtan movement was first set in motion 500 years ago by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire that it spread all over the universe, the Krishna consciousness movement, in continuity of that same motion, is now spreading all over the world, and in this way it will gradually spread all over the universe. With the spread of the Krishna consciousness movement, everyone will merge in an ocean of love of Krishna. 33. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in the Navadvip area for 24 years. He induced every person to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus merge in love of Krishna. Text 34. For his remaining 24 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, stayed at Jagannath Puri with his devotees. Text 35. For 6 of these 24 years in Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, he distributed love of Godhead by always chanting and dancing. 36. Beginning from Cape Comorin and extending through Bengal to Vrindavan, during these 6 years, he toured all of India, chanting, dancing, and distributing love of Krishna. 37. The activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his travels after he accepted sannyas are his principal pastimes. His activities during the remaining 18 years are called the Ädi-lilä, or the final portion of his pastimes. Text 38. For 6 of the 18 years, he continuously stayed at Jagannath Puri. He regularly performed kirtan, inducing all the devotees to love Krishna simply by chanting and dancing. Text 39. For the remaining 12 years, he stayed in Jagannath Puri. He taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. Purport. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separation from Krishna, because such a feeling of separation excels the feeling of meeting Krishna. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, in his last 12 years of existence within this world at Jagannath Puri, taught the people of the world how, with the feeling of separation, one can develop his dormant love of Krishna. Such feelings of separation or meeting with Krishna are different stages of love of Godhead. These feelings develop in time when a person seriously engages in devotional service. The highest stage is called Prema Bhakti, but this stage is attained by executing Sadhana Bhakti. One should not try to elevate himself artificially to the stage of Prema Bhakti without seriously following the regulative principles of Sadhana Bhakti. Prema Bhakti is the stage of relishing, whereas Sadhana Bhakti is the stage of improving in devotional service. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught this cult of devotional service in full detail by practical application in his own life. It is said, therefore, Apani Achari Bhakti Shakaimu Sabare. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and in the role of a Krishna Bhakta, a devotee of Krishna, he instructed the entire world how one can execute devotional service and thus go back home, back to Godhead, in due course of time. Text 40. Day and night, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Krishna. Manifesting symptoms of this separation, he cried and talked very inconsistently like a madman. 41. As Srimati Radharani talked inconsistently when she met Uddhava, so also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished both day and night such ecstatic talk in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Purport. In this connection, one should refer to Srimati Radharani's soliloquy after meeting Uddhava in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented a similar picture of such ecstatic imaginary talking, full of jealousy and madness, symptomizing neglect by Krishna. Srimati Radharani, criticizing a bumblebee, talked just like a madwoman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the last days of his pastimes, exhibited all the symptoms of such ecstasy. In this connection, one should refer to the 4th chapter of the Ädi-lilä, verses 107 and 108. Text 42. The Lord used to read the books of Vidyapati, Jayadev, and Chandidas, relishing their songs with his confidential associates like Sri Ramananda Roy and Sarup Damodar Goswami. Purport. Vidyapati was a famous composer of songs about the pastimes of Radha Krishna. He was an inhabitant of Mithila, born in a Brahmana family. It is calculated that he composed his songs during the reign of King Shivasingha and Queen Lachimadevi in the beginning of the 14th century of the Shaka era, almost 100 years before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 12th generation of Vidyapati's descendants is still living. Vidyapati's songs about the pastimes of Lord Krishna express intense feelings of separation from Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished all those songs in his ecstasy of separation from Krishna. Jayadev was born during the reign of Maharaj Lakshman Sen of Bengal in the 11th or 12th century of the Shaka era. His father was Bhojadev and his mother was Bhamadevi. For many years he lived in Navadvip, then the capital of Bengal. His birthplace was in the Birbhum district, in the village Kendubilba. In the opinion of some authorities, however, he was born in Orissa, and still others say that he was born in southern India. He passed the last days of his life in Jagannath Puri. One of his famous books is Gita Govinda, which is full of transcendental mellow feelings of separation from Krishna. The gopis felt separation from Krishna before the rasa dance, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Gita Govinda expresses such feelings. There are many commentaries on the Gita Govinda by many Vaishnavas. Chandidas was born in the village of Nanura, which is also in the Birbhum district of Bengal. He was born of a Brahmana family, and it is said that he also took birth in the beginning of the 14th century, Shakabda era. It has been suggested that Chandidas and Vidyapati were great friends because the writings of both express the transcendental feelings of separation profusely. The feelings of ecstasy described by Chandidas and Vidyapati were actually exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He relished all those feelings in the role of Srimati Radharani, and his appropriate associates for this purpose were Sri Ramananda Roy and Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami. These intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu helped the Lord very much in the pastimes in which he felt like Radharani. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in this connection that such feelings of separation as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed from the books of Vidyapati, Chandidas, and Jayadev were especially reserved for persons like Sri Ramananda Roy and Sarup Damodar, who were Paramahamsas, men of the topmost perfection, because of their advanced spiritual consciousness. Such topics are not to be discussed by ordinary persons imitating the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For critical students of mundane poetry and literary men without God consciousness, who are after bodily sense gratification, there is no need to read such a high standard of transcendental literature. Persons who are after sense gratification should not try to imitate Raganuga devotional service. The songs of Chandidas, Vidyapati, and Jayadev describe the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mundane reviewers of these songs simply help people, in general, become debauchees, and this leads only to social scandals and atheism in the world. One should not misunderstand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna to be the activities of a mundane young boy and girl. The mundane sexual activities of young boys and girls are most abominable. Therefore, those who are in bodily consciousness and who desire sense gratification are forbidden to indulge in discussions of the transcendental pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. Text 43. In separation from Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished all these ecstatic activities, and thus he fulfilled his own desires. Purport. In the beginning of the Caitanya-caritämrta, it is said that Lord Chaitanya appeared in order to taste the feelings of Radharani. In order to taste the feelings Radharani felt upon seeing Krishna. Krishna himself could not understand the ecstatic feelings of Radharani toward him, and therefore he desired to accept the role of Radharani and thereby taste these feelings. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna with the feelings of Radharani. In other words, he is a combination of Radha and Krishna. It is therefore said, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. By worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone, one can relish the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna together. One should therefore try to understand Radha Krishna, not directly, but through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through his devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Rupa Raghunatha Padi Hoibe Akuti Kabi Hama Bhujava Sayugala Puriti. When shall I develop a mentality of service toward Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and the other devotees of Lord Chaitanya, and thus become eligible to understand the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna? Text 44. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are unlimited. How much can a small living entity elaborate about those transcendental pastimes? Text 45. If Sheshanaga Ananta personally were to make the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya into sutras, even with his thousands of mouths, there is no possibility that he could find their limit. Text 46. Devotees like Sri Sarup Damodar and Murari Gupta have recorded all the principal pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in the form of notes, after deliberate consideration. Text 47. The notes kept by Sri Sarup Damodar and Murari Gupta are the basis of this book. Following those notes, I write of all the pastimes of the Lord. The notes have been described elaborately by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Text 48. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, the authorized writer of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is as good as Srila Vyasadeva. He has described the pastimes in such a way as to make them sweeter and sweeter. 49. Being afraid of his books becoming too voluminous, he left some places without vivid descriptions. I shall try to fill those places as far as possible. Text 50. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have actually been relished by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. I am simply trying to chew the remnants of food left by him. My dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya, let me now write a synopsis of the Ädi-lilä. I write of these pastimes in brief because it is not possible to describe them in full. 1 second. To fulfill a particular desire within his mind, Lord Krishna, Rajendra Kumar, decided to descend to this planet after mature contemplation. Text 53. Lord Krishna therefore first allowed his family of superiors to descend to the earth. I shall try to describe them in brief because it is not possible to describe them fully. Lord Sri Krishna, before appearing as Lord Chaitanya, requested these devotees to precede him: Sri Shachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, Madhavendra Puri, Keshava Bharati, Ishwara Puri, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Pandit, Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, and Thakur Haridas. Text 56. There was also Sri Upendra Mishra, a resident of the district of Srihata. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, a learned scholar, a rich man, and a reservoir of all good qualities. Purport. Upendra Mishra is described in the Gaura Ganodesh Dipika 35 as the Gopal named Parjanya. The same personality who was formerly the grandfather of Lord Krishna appeared as Upendra Mishra at Srihata and begot 7 sons. He was a resident of Dhaka Dakshinagram in the district of Srihata. There are still many residents of that part of the country who introduce themselves as belonging to the Mishra family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 57 and 58. Upendra Mishra had 7 sons, who were all saintly and most influential. 1. Kangsari, 2. Paramananda, 3. Padmanabha, 4. Sarveshwar, 5. Jagannath, 6. Janardhan, and 7. Trilokyanath. Jagannath Mishra, the 5th son, decided to reside on the bank of the Ganges at Nadia. Text 59. Jagannath Mishra was designated as Purandara. Exactly like Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, he was an ocean of all good qualities. Text 60. His wife, Srimati Shachi Devi, was a chaste woman, highly devoted to her husband. Shachi Devi's father's name was Nilambara, and his surname was Chakravarti. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya in the Garagana Dipika 104, it is mentioned that Nilambara Chakravarti was formerly Gargamuni. Some of the family descendants of Nilambara Chakravarti still live in the village of the named Magdoba in the district of Faridpur in Bangladesh. His nephew was Jagannath Chakravarti, also known as Mamu Thakur, who became a disciple of Pandit Goswami and stayed at Jagannath Puri as the priest of Tota Gopinath. Nilambara Chakravarti lived at Navadvip in the neighborhood of Belapukuria. This fact is mentioned in the book Prema Vilas. Because he lived near the house of the Qazi who was also considered one of the maternal uncles of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll read that again. Nilambar Chakrabarti lived at Navadvip in the neighborhood of Belapukuria. This fact is mentioned in the book Prema Vilas. Because he lived near the house of the Qazi was also considered one of the maternal uncles of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Qazi used to address Nilambar Chakravarti as Kaka, or uncle. One cannot separate the residence of the Qazi from Vamanapukur, because the tomb of the Qazi is still existing there. Formerly, the place was known as Belapukuria. This is now called Belapukur. And now it is called Vamanapukur. This has been ascertained by archaeological evidence. Text 61. In Radhadesh, the part of Bengal where the Ganges is not visible, Nityananda Prabhu, Gangadas Pandit, Murari Gupta, and Mukunda took birth. Purport. Here, Radhadesh refers to the village of the name Ekachakra in the district of Birbhum, next to Burdwan. After the Burdwan railway station, there is another branch line which is called the Loop Line of the Eastern Railway. And there is a railway station of the name Malarapur. 8 miles east of this railway station, Ekachakra village is still situated. Ekachakra village extends north and south for an area of about 8 miles. Other villages, namely Virachandrapur and Virabhadrapur, are situated within the area of the village of Ekachakra. In honor of the holy name of Virabhadra Goswami, these places are renowned as Virachandrapur and Virabhadrapur. In the Bengali year 1331, AD 1924, a thunderbolt struck the temple of Ekachakragam. Therefore the temple is now in a broken state. Before this, there were no such accidents in that quarter. Within the temple, there is a deity of Sri Krishna established by Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The name of the deity is Bankim Roy or Banka Roy. On Bankim Roy's right side is a deity of Janava, and on his left side is Srimati Radharani. The priest of the temple described that Lord Nityananda Prabhu entered within the body of Bankim Roy, and that the deity of Janava Mata was therefore placed on the right side of Bankim Roy. Afterwards, many other deities were installed within the temple. On another throne within the temple are deities of Murlidhar and Radha Madhava. On another throne are deities of Manomohan, Vrindavan Chandra, and Gora Nitai. But Bankim Roy is the deity originally installed by Nityananda Prabhu. On the eastern side of the temple is a ghat known as Kadamba Kandi, on the bank of a river called the Yamuna, and it is said that the deity Bankim Roy was floating in the water, and Lord Nityananda Prabhu picked him up and then installed him in the temple. Thereafter, in a place known as Badapur, in the village of Virachandrapur, about half a mile west, in a place underneath a neem tree, Srimati Radharani was found. For this reason, the Radharani of Bankim Roy was known as Badapurera Thakurani, the mistress of Badapur. On another throne, on the right side of Bankim Roy, is a deity of Yogamaya. Now the temple and temple corridor rest on a high plinth, and on the concrete structure in front of the temple is a kirtan hall. It is also said that on the northern side of the temple there was a deity of Lord Shiva named Bandishwar, and that the father of Nityananda Prabhu, Hadai Pandit, used to worship that deity. At present, however, the Bandishwar deity is missing, and in his place a Jagannath Swami deity has been installed. Lord Nityananda Prabhu did not factually construct any temples. The temple was constructed at the time of Virabhadra Prabhu. In the Bengali year 1298, AD 1891, a brahmachari of the name Shivananda Swami repaired the temple, for it had become dilapidated. In this temple there is an arrangement of food, to offer food to the deity on the basis of 17 seers, about 34 pounds of rice and necessary vegetables. The present priestly order of the temple belongs to the family of Gopi Jana Balavananda. Gopi Jana Balavananda, one of the branches of Nityananda Prabhu. There is a land settlement in the name of the temple, and income from this land finances the expenditures for the temple. There are 3 parties of priestly Goswamis who take charge of the temple management, one after another. A few steps from the temple is a place known as Vishramatala, where it is said that Nityananda Prabhu in his childhood used to enjoy sporting with his boyfriends and enacting the Rasa-lila and various other pastimes of Vrindavan. Near the temple is a place named Amalitala, Imlital, which is so named because of a big tamarind tree there. According to a party named the Nidadi Sampradaya, Virabhadra Prabhu, with the assistance of 1,200 Nedas, Buddhist monks, dug a great lake of the name Shweta Ganga. Outside of the temple are the tombs of the Goswamis, and there is a small river known as the Maudeshwar, which is called the water of Yamuna. Within half a mile of this small temple is the birthplace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It appears that there is a big kirtan hall in front of the temple, but later it became dilapidated. It is now covered by banyan trees. Later on, a temple was constructed within which Gaura Nityananda deities are existing. The temple was constructed by the late Prasanna Kumar Karapur Parma. A tablet was installed in his memory in the Bengali year 1323, AD 1916, in the month of Vaishakha, April-May. The place where Nityananda Prabhu appeared is called Garbhavasa. There is an allotment of about 43 bighas, 14 acres of land, to continue the worship in the temple there. The Maharaj of Dinajapur donated 20 bighas of land, about 6.5 acres, in this connection. It is said that near the place known as Garbhavasa, Hadai Pandit conducted a primary school. The priests of this place, listed in a genealogical table, were as follows. 1. Sri Raghava Chandra. 2. Jagadananda Das. 3. Krishna Das. 4. Nityananda Das. 5. Ramadas. 6. Vrajamohan Das. 7. Kanai Das. 8. Gaura Das. 9. Shivananda Das. And 10. Haridas. Krishna Das belonged to the Chidiya Kunj at Vrindavan. The date of his disappearance is Krishna Janmastami. Chidiya Kunj is a place now managed by the Goswamis of Shingaragat in Vrindavan. They are also known as belonging to the Nityananda family, most probably on the basis of their relationship with Krishnadas. Near Garbhavas is a place called Bakula Tala, where Sri Nityananda Prabhu and his boyfriends used to take part in sporting activities known as Jala Japeka. There is a bakul tree there that is wonderful because all its branches and sub-branches look like the hoods of serpents. It has been suggested that by the desire of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Anantadev manifested himself in that way. The tree is very old. It is said that formerly it had 2 trunks, but later on, when the playmates of Nityananda Prabhu felt inconvenience in jumping from the branches of one trunk to those of the other, Nityananda Prabhu, by his mercy, merged the 2 trunks into one. Another place nearby is Hantugada. It is said that Lord Nityananda Prabhu brought all the holy places there. Therefore, the people in the surrounding villages go there instead of to the Ganges to take bath. It is named Hantugada because Srila Nityananda Prabhu used to perform the Dadichida festival of distributing chipped rice with yogurt prasadam there, and he took the prasadam kneeling down. A sanctified lake in this place is always full of water throughout the year. A great fair is held there during Goshtastami, and there is another big fair on the birthday of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. In the Gauraganodesh Deepika 58-63, it is described that Halayuddha, Baladev, Vishwarupa, and Sankarshan appeared as Nityananda, Avaduta. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. I'll stop the reading for tonight. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, there's a lot of nectar in that reading.
So, Vaisheshika Prabhu says Hare Krishna.
Vaisheshika Prabhu, Hare Krishna to you, and feelings of separation are pouring forth. Separation from you. You're so kind to tune in and listen to something and then make a comment to this lowly soul. Hare Krishna. Maybe I was too late. I got so late that everybody went away before. I hope they didn't miss that. Or I hope they got a chance to listen to it afterwards. If they did, Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Rati Manjari says, no, we are here.
Say that again.
She says, no, we are here.
Well, Rati Manjari, I think you just picked yourself up off the ground after hearing those pastimes, nectarine glorification of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So I kind of expected it, that you'd take a little time to gather your wits and come back to consciousness where you could speak. So go ahead, please.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. Thank you for another very nice and nectarian reading.
Who is that?
Rati Manjari.
Oh, Rati. Well, Rati, I just wanted you to know, and I'm kind of announcing it now, but somebody will be in touch with you, I think Priyakund or somebody. But we decided to have some, some on the 30th of July for my birthday, we'll have a Zoom meeting, and you have been, selected as the hostess for that meeting, and between you and Priyakund, you can decide what the program is going to be and how to organize it. And I will write a Dear All letter very soon, maybe tomorrow, and let everyone know that it will be occurring. And it will happen at 12 noon here in the UK, because we have the breadth of geography that we have to cover is from Sydney, Australia, where Vilas Manjari is, all the way to the west coast where Krishna Katha and Vrindavaneshwari is. So that's a wide span, and the only way we can get everyone in at reasonable hours is to have it at noon in the UK. So please check your local listings to find out what time it will be in your area. Hare Krishna. And it'll only be 2 hours long, because it's just no practical for people. It'll be so early in California and so late in Sydney that we want to keep it, kind of reasonable length. But we'll spend time together, and I'll speak to you, and maybe some readings will be done. I don't know. It depends on you. Now that you know pretty much a little bit of what's happening, and then you and Priyakund can coordinate the thing. Okay, thank you. You got some revelations for us over here?
She says, wow, thank you very much, dear Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for celebrating your birthday with us through Zoom.
And the pleasure is all mine. I've become such a hermit lately.
She says, if you kindly bless us, we will make it into a very nice program.
I'm sure you will. That's why I suggested that you be the maitre d', or the hostess with the mostess. This was just one flow of nectar, summary of the Ädi-lilä and all that nectar about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, how all of his superiors were asked by him to come to the earth before he came, just to arrange everything nicely. It's like the Maha drama. All the characters are put on the stage before he appeared. Amazing. And also how all of the participants, the actors and actresses of the Leela are all, the same persons who dealt with Krishna, in Krishna Leela, in Vrindavan. It's amazing. Only the devotees of Lord Chaitanya can understand these things, how they could be possible. They're gifted by the holy name and by Lord Chaitanya's mercy to be able to actually accept these things as true and therefore relish. And as it was said during the readings, the actual evidence of this is the feelings of separation that come into the heart. Just like when Bhakti Charu Maharaj just left, we all felt such separation, such a wonderful personality. We may never know who he was in the spiritual world, if he was, because he never talked about it, he never said it, but he was definitely a special person, especially empowered. It was nice, that point about how no one can glorify the Lord and his devotees and pastimes and entourage without being empowered by Krishna. But it doesn't mean that one has to be a scholar. It just means one has to be a devotee. Have no ulterior motives. Okay, I've done my bit. Now let's hear something from you all. I'd like to hear your reflections. It's a little late today. We started late. Maybe not so many people are there. I don't know. Hello? Anybody there?
Something from Rati Manjari just came up.
That's why we made you the hostess with the mostest, because you're the most steady and reliable person I know.
She says, about the reading of tonight, if I may bring up a point.
Please.
The advent of Lord Chaitanya, when all the devotees were chanting the name of Hari because of the eclipse, and then the Lord descended amidst the chanting of the holy names, thus indicating his mission. This reminded me of the departure of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, who left in the midst of the chanting of the devotees all over the world, thus benedicting this world even while departing.
Yes, and it also indicates his position as an intimate devotee of Lord Chaitanya, because, as we heard, the movement spread all over the world by Prabhupada's mercy, and then by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada's sincere followers. And it's continuing to spread. And as we heard, it will continue to spread throughout the whole universe. You remember why? Because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, and therefore when he chanted, it started an inundation that is gradually, the continuation of it will go all over the universe eventually. When Lord Chaitanya says something, it does something, it happens, no matter what outrageous it may appear to us, or not, I don't know, but, you know. He was one who said the movement would spread all over the world, and at that time, when he said it, not many people could understand what he meant, because, you know, no one had been out in the rest of the world, from that part of the world, very much. Okay, it's almost 8:30. Unless we have other ecstatic reflections, we'll stop tonight and then continue with the waves of nectar that flow from the Caitanya-caritämrta, getting thicker and sweeter and thicker and sweeter, thicker and sweeter until we get to the Ädi-lilä, and then it's hard to stay conscious while we hear because it's so nectarian. So thick, dense ecstasy.
Gopakanya Devidasi.
Oh, Gopakanya, Hare Krishna.
She says, Jai Maharaj and all the assembled devotees. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
And one more thing from Rati Manjari.
She
said, I also love to hear about the deity of Banking Roy, Janava Devi, and Srimati Radharani, how they appeared and came to Lord Nityananda.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful place, the place of Lord Nityananda's birth. I went there twice, but a very long time ago. Yeah, the details of the description of the place were very vivid and very easy to visualize, so expertly presented.
She says also, and how he ultimately entered into the deity of Banking Roy when he disappeared.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Rati Manjari, and all the other devotees that are perhaps listening, perhaps not, but whatever. We thank you very much for being there during these readings. They are very, very important. And, my motto is, let's let Prabhupada speak for himself and relish hearing those words together. That's my life and soul.
One more thing from Rati.
Mm-hmm.
She says these kind of pastimes give us an indication of how the Lord is able to command and play around with all the energies, like the real masters.
Yes. The Universal Symphony, the conductor of the Universal Symphony. Okay, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. All the glorious devotees of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Samabheda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. And we'll see you tomorrow night, same place, same time, same station. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.